What family trauma shaped your entire approach to relationships? Growing up, my father was a master of the unexpected explosion. Our family moved through life on eggshells, never knowing what might trigger his rage: a dish left in the sink, a light left on, homework not completed perfectly. The unpredictability was the most damaging part. Some days he'd return home bearing gifts and affection. Other days, the slightest misstep would unleash a torrent of verbal abuse. My mother became expert at reading the subtle signs: a certain tension in his jaw, a specific way he set down his keys. She'd quietly usher us kids to our rooms before the storm hit. By age 10, I'd developed my own internal radar for emotional danger. I could detect the slightest shift in someone's tone, the smallest change in facial expression. This hypervigilance kept me safe at home, but followed me into adulthood with devastating consequences. In relationships, I became the perpetual emotional forecaster. I'd analyze texts for hidden meanings, scan partners' faces for signs of disapproval, and apologize preemptively for things I hadn't even done. One boyfriend called me emotionally exhausting. Another said being with me was like dating someone who's constantly preparing for disaster. When conflicts did arise, I'd either freeze completely or immediately surrender my position. Survival tactics from childhood that sabotaged adult connections. I couldn't distinguish between healthy disagreement and dangerous conflict. Every raised voice felt like impending violence. Therapy helped me recognize these patterns, but intellectual understanding didn't immediately change my emotional responses. What truly began my healing was meeting Daniel, whose patience was unlike anything I'd experienced. When I'd spiral into hypervigilance, interpreting his normal mood fluctuations as anger, he'd gently name what was happening. "I'm not your father, I'm just tired from work." The first time we had a disagreement where I didn't either shut down or capitulate was a revelation. We could have different opinions without someone becoming unsafe. It's taken years of intentional work, therapy, boundary setting, and practicing new responses. Some days, the old programming still activates, but more often now, I can distinguish between past trauma echoes and present reality. The peace I found isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about remembering it doesn't have to happen again.